The Canadian Badlands Passion Play will once again inspire audiences this summer in Drumheller, Alberta. It's an annual highlight for locals and tourists who witness the story of Jesus come to life on stage outdoors through this powerful production. It takes some 200 volunteer actors to make it happen, and we're so pleased to have one of them join us now, Christine Coggins. Welcome, Christine.
Thank you.
Now, what role do you play in the 200?
I am a villager.
A villager. So various settings. You need to have a lot of kind of the crowd there.
Yes, I'm part of the. I like to. Well, and they talk about that. I'm part of the painting. I'm part of the painting of the story of Christ, because of course he was about the people. So I'm one of the people he was about.
And it all happens outdoors.
Yes, outdoors, rain or shine.
Challenging sometimes. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, we rehearse through rain, we rehearse through blazing sun, hours and hours, 8 weekends solid of rehearsal. It's exhausting.
Now, both you and your husband have been acting in the Passion Play for 4 summers now. Tell us about the genesis of how you guys got involved in this.
Well, we went to see the play in 2010. My husband was not a Christian then, and he was blown away. I was blown away. He's not a big theater person, never really liked live theater. I kind of made him come with me. And he just loved it. I loved it. I've always loved theater. So I thought, well, you know, this is something they're calling for volunteer actors. I could do that. That would be fun. He thought, yeah, good. That'll be great. You'll enjoy that. Of course, he had no intention of being in it himself because he's not a big fan of theater.
Right.
So, so the next year I signed up and we came to the first weekend of rehearsals, and Royal Sproul, one of the directors, said to Barry, well, wouldn't you like to be in it too? I mean, you know, we could use somebody like you. And he said, yeah, sure, why not? The spirit led, because I've asked him since, why did you say yes? He said, I have no idea.
What part was he asked to play?
Just general. He actually played 3 roles that year. He was a Levite, he was a Pharisee, and he was a Roman soldier.
Oh.
So he played 3 parts that year. None of them speaking roles at that point.
Right. And so, so just tell us about what it was like for him to play that, and then how the roles played out.
It was an interesting thing. Like I said, he's not into theater. He'd never really been involved in theater. So he didn't know about rehearsals. He didn't know how the process worked. He has ADD, so he found it really difficult to sort of be patient in rehearsals. He's, you know, squirrel. And so he would get really annoyed with all of the delays and this sort of thing. He was impatient quite frequently. He's got a very large personality, so if he's impatient, everyone around him feels it. When he's happy, everyone around him feels it. The crew didn't know what to do with him. He could be disruptive, he could be frustrating, he would get annoyed, and he made sure everyone knew he was annoyed. So it was challenging for everybody. He was not particularly happy, and a lot of the times, which meant nobody was happy.
Yeah. So then what started to happen in his heart and in life?
Well, you know, I mean, it's an interesting thing. The crew, or the cast, they just saw him as this big, he's got a really soft heart. And they saw him as this big teddy bear, and they just ignored his irritation and whatever, and they just loved on him anyways. And they'd come up and give him hugs, and he was not a hug guy. And he's like, whoa, get away from me. And then when we did our first run through, he really sort of caught the vision of the whole thing. And he's like, oh, this is how it all comes together. And he suddenly, you know, started really taking his role seriously and getting into it. And then when it was all over, he's like, oh, that was really quite amazing. And he really just caught the vision and just really enjoyed himself. So we came back.
So then through all the productions and really getting a sense of what Jesus did and what the Passion story was all about, and the importance of what Jesus, you know, did on the cross and the resurrection, it really started to have a personal impact on him.
Well, it did. The second year, he was cast as the Roman centurion that actually crucifies Jesus, which is a challenging role for anyone. He found it really emotional, and he's not an emotional person. Fortunately, they make it, you know, as they rehearse it, they try and make it a little bit easier. But he also, ironically, was cast as the bloody Levite that crucifies the lambs, or sacrifices the lambs during the Passover scene. So he actually crucified the lamb and crucified the Lamb in Act 2. So, and that really, I think, got into him. Really got into him, the whole story. He just became part of the story. I mean, he got a theological education.
For sure.
So, and then after year 3, this is year 4 for us, so following year 3, just the Passion Play became our church. Those people just loved it. And I mean, by second year, he's hugging everybody back. And
because for that period of time in the summer, you're all kind of living together, you're all in a kind of a community.
It's very much like the early church, we feel. It's not only are you in costume a lot, but it's a community. We camp together in this gorgeous campground down by the Red Deer River, and you know, we eat together, we pray together, we fellowship together, we have our own church, and it's just like a big family, and he just grew to love those people so much, and they really wormed their way into his heart.
So you have found this to be transformational, being part of it for your husband and for yourself and even your marriage?
Made a massive impact on, the Passion Play has been challenging and rewarding for us and our marriage. It's brought us closer together. It's helped me, especially the first year when he was so difficult, really learn to rely on God. I did a lot of praying, a lot of praying.
Now, do you personally know of other people who've come just as a spectator, not necessarily in the play, they've seen it and it's had an impact on their life?
Oh, absolutely. There's a young lady in our community. I come from a small town of 750 people. And there's a young lady in our community who is just a model of God's love and redemption in her life. She had a pretty, rough life, and Christ saved her from all of that. And my parents happened to have 2 extra tickets, so they gave them to her, and she took her sister. Like I said, they come from abusive backgrounds, and so they went to the play together, and her sister was really blown away by it and asked a lot of questions on the way home. This was last year, and became a Christian after that. So it's really, this play will change your life, whether you're acting in it, whether you go to see it, whether you volunteer as a day volunteer. It is the most phenomenal thing. You can't even describe it. It has to be experienced. It really does. And
that's one of the reasons why you're here. We want to encourage people to come on out and see it. When is it happening this summer?
The play is happening the last 3 weekends in July. So I think it's the 11th to the 27th. It's on the weekends only, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So 9 performances. Yeah, I mean, if you even have an inkling that you think you might want to, it's well worth it. Our stage is almost 1 kilometer long. We have a phenomenal set and phenomenal crew. But even more, I'd like to encourage people to volunteer. We need day volunteers for, driving the little golf carts. That's the fun one. Ushers, tickets, but especially cast. I mean, it's too late for this year, but honestly, you will never regret it. It will change your life to participate.
And so the website, people want more information,
It's www.canadianpassionplay.com.
CanadianPassionPlay.com.
Yeah, and there's all the information you want on there, lots of pictures, lots of info.
As well as the dates and how to get tickets and so on. So
exactly, you can order your tickets right off the website.
All right, well, Christine, thank you so much for coming in and sharing that with us, and God bless you with the Passion Play there in the Badlands of Alberta. It's an amazing production. Be sure to get out and see it.